Hi, I'm Linda May, and I'm the founder and Archdruid Priestess of Druids of the Light. It's a spiritual nonprofit here in Arizona. And I'm also a reader for Crystal Magic Psychic Center here in Sedona, Arizona, beautiful Sedona. And I'm here today to talk to you about this new moon period that we are beginning on mid-afternoon, Friday, February 27th, and it's exact at 5:45 Arizona time, which is the same as Mountain Standard Time at this time. This time, any new moon represents the end of one lunar cycle and the beginning of another. So astrologically, it means both the sun and the moon are in the same sign, and on February 27th, they're both in the sign of Pisces. This new moon, as in general, is a time of new beginnings, and this particular new moon is a time with sensitivity and imagination that comes with the Piscean energy. And you may also find yourself in a sea of visions, feeling lots of empathy and tuning into higher consciousness more readily. That's part of what the Pisces energy does. This new moon in Pisces can also inspire a renewed connection to the mystery of life and encourage us to trust in the process of life. It's a great time to do your own inner emotional healing and to start something new that involves more giving than receiving, being for others, more than taking. And this is also a time that allows us to tune into our own intuition, and it strengthens our capacity to trust the divine timing as we flow with life's plan. Embrace your intuition over structure and inspirations over predictability. Surrender to the unknown and let go of the need for certainty in all things. Plant seeds of a more inspired and spiritually aligned path that honors your deepest dreams and your unseen potential. So this is, it's really, really a wonderful time because it's really about going within and just really seeing what is it that's being called, what am I being called to do at this point? That's how I see this kind of energy. It's just amazing. Aspect-wise, we've had a lot of strange aspects for the last few months, but it continues a little bit. A few days before the new moon, Mars goes direct in Cancer after being retrograde since December 6th. And Mars sometimes has to do with, basically, it's very much about taking initiation and stuff like that on one hand, but on another, it also can mean we blow up easily and get angry easily and stuff like that. So going from retrograde to back to active is an interesting thing. I think the retrograde would make us go more inward, so we might get more angry at ourselves. And now we need to be careful that we're not charging out on other people. Some previous suffering could now make more sense, however, because now this is direct and you can see things more clearly. It also is combined with some feelings of powerlessness, mainly because of its connection with the moon and everything. So this also, in the fact that it's in Cancer. So Cancer is very sensitive in itself. This also invites you to focus your energy on what motivates you, which is what I was just talking about, and it deepens your understanding of the emotional outbursts and frustrations of the past few months, which is true. On the day of the new moon, the sun and moon square Jupiter in Gemini, and they trine Mars in Cancer. So this is actually really cool because Jupiter is about higher consciousness, and this does invite you to trust the divine timing in things, even if it doesn't seem to make sense right now. Sometimes you want something to happen right now, but it isn't quite time yet, and you need to wait, and you need to trust that process. Embrace your feelings, practice compassion in all things, and don't forget that at times you really do need to take action. I mean, sometimes that's the best thing you can do. And not to hold back when it's time to go forward, and that's part of what that trine with Mars helps us to do in a positive way. So that's really a good way for Mars to work in a positive way for us. On March 1st, which is just a few days after the new moon, we do see a conjunction with Neptune, and that adds to the intuitive, sensitive energy of the new moon because Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces. So that's very interesting. There's also a nostalgia in the air. Maybe it's a good time, sweet time to see old friends, to share memories and that sort of thing. I would say it would be a great time to have like class reunions and things like that. But it's a nice time to reminisce on the past and recognize, you know, a lot of what we are now comes from what we learned from the past, our you know, just remembering the old things. So, and that's adding to who you are now, because now you can kind of see all the wisdom and the things that you've learned over all of the years and incorporate that into your own inner being. Now, season-wise, we're moving out of the season of Imbolc, which I talked about before, and we're still in the season of Imbolc technically. The actual date was February 1st, and we're moving into the season of the spring equinox. So Imbolc is between winter and spring. It's basically the halfway point between winter and spring, and it's often thought of as the third of the winter celebrations and the first of the spring celebrations. So this spring equinox, which is the actual season, is the second, and that's how it usually works. So the major seasons that we know, spring, summer, fall, winter, is usually the second, you know, so there's like an introduction, then the second, and then the passing on of the last and the first of the next. So it's all cyclical, like time is, right? But the springtime is a time of balance. No, Imbolc actually is a time of balance and harmony. It's a blending of the masculine and feminine energies, and we talked a lot about that in the past. And this is actually taking us into spring. And spring is the time when night and day are of equal lengths, just like they are in the fall. And the forces of light are increasing at this time. So that's really great. And what that does is, you know, because we were talking at Imbolc about the seeds sort of under the ground, this is seed planting time. This is the time when things will start rooting and start coming up because of the greater light. It's a time of celebration and joy, and it's a time to plan ahead with expectancy, a time to assess our goals for spring and summer ahead, just like farmers would plant their crops in the spring so that they'd have a great harvest in the fall. So it's like planning, what we're going to be doing for the next few months. So that's part of what this is part of what spring is about, is basically moving into a rebirth of what's happening. So now, the traditional Celtic tree calendar, based on the moon cycles with the new year beginning at Samhain, which is October 31st, has the tree for this period of the February-March moon cycle, because we're right at the end of February, and it's, pretty much just past new when we enter March. And it actually depends on what part of the world you're in. So the tree for this period is ash, and this is ash, okay? And that's from this deck, the Celtic Tree Oracle, which is a great deck. The cards in here are amazing. So the ash actually is associated with ancient knowledge, with luck, and with support. So it is a time of reuniting the inner and the outer, the microcosm and the macrocosm. It's coming into that perfect balance within yourself. That's a part of what this is about, and that's part of the ancient knowledge. That's something that all the ancients knew, that was an important part. As above, so below. And this energy does help you to explore your own inner world, your own consciousness, and then apply the guidance that you receive from the God Goddess to know yourself. And know thyself. That's, one of my favorite sayings, to be honest, because I think it's the most important thing we can do, is really know ourselves, know what we like, know who we are, know what matters to us. All of that kind of stuff is part of what we have to bring out into the world in a better place, not what somebody else tells us we are. So it's less about doing and much more about being and using your discoveries to help others, which is what I've mentioned a few times now. It's very much part of the Pisces energy. So now I'm going to start drawing my cards. First of all, the Druid Animal deck, the Druid Animal Oracle deck here. This is the one I do my readings with in person, and like when I do phone readings and stuff like that. Love these cards. There's 33 cards, which I think is very sacred, and the messages are deep, and I think they're usually just exactly what people need to hear. So let's see what we got. Interesting. So we kind of mentioned this. This is the wolf, And what the wolf stands for is introspection. It has to do with going within and doing your own inner work. It has to do with what's known as shadow work. And as we do that work, as we go within, as we explore our old wounds, as we surrender those wounds, we have to own them and then surrender them. And when we do that, we're actually moving ourselves into a place. And a lot of this is going within so that we can bring the wisdom that we've learned without. And it really does make a difference to do that inner work. So in the Pisces energy, it's a perfect time to do it. It's a perfect time for going within, doing the introspection, focusing on the spiritual level of our beings, our soul levels, and that's all of what this wolf is bringing us to. So great message for this season. And now the Druidcraft Tarot. I do my daily card pulls with this deck. Very wonderful deck in its own way, actually. The cards are beautiful, and even the messages are just about as deep as the animal cards in a different way. Just different, because tarot's a little different than oracle cards. And what we get is, let's see, the moon. The moon. Okay, so interesting. The moon actually does have to do also with psychic energy and stuff like that. We see the moon right here. It often has to do with being psychic. It has to do with being intuitive. It has to do with being very sensitive. All of that is part of this moon energy. And look we have wolves howling at the moon in the picture, which I think is kind of really right in alignment with this card, which is really cool. It has to do with feminine energies. The moon is more the feminine side and the sun is more the masculine side. So this again has to do with that feminine side, which is more the intuitive, imaginative, going into the unconscious. All of that is part of what this card is about. So it's actually, again, right in alignment with what this Piscean new moon is going to be bringing us. And then I like to do a message from the trees, this Whispering Wood deck. The trees, very simple messages, but always very good advice. Oh, look at that, woods, right away, Whispering Woods. Be like the woods, calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. So the mysterious part is actually pretty much in alignment with, some of this Piscean and new moon energy. Calm, soothing, mysterious, and full of life. There we are. Okay, so that's what the trees have to tell us. And then this new deck that I just recently got, I love. It's the Sedona Spirit Wind deck, and it has beautiful pictures of all the places in Sedona, like all the magical places that we have here. So let's see what our message is for this period. Tlaquepaque, interesting. This is an incredible shopping center that we have just near, not too far away from uptown Sedona, okay? Tlaquepaque, but look at the views. We can see all these like very sacred mountains in the distance. Some of these, it's right here, this is Cathedral, and I forget what these are called, but there's all these different mountains that we have here, all the red rocks. And Tlaquepaque, interestingly, it's like I said, it's an incredible shopping center, and they have all kinds of shops there, everything you can think of. And it says, the best of everything is who I am. So interestingly, I find this fascinating with this new moon, because that's kind of like having confidence in ourselves. It's, going within and recognize who we really, really are. Realize the richness and the best of all that we are. The best of everything is who I am. There it is, okay? And then finally, this Light Bearers deck that I like so much, this Angel Guidance card. We'll see which one comes up for us today. Archangel Uriel, right there. Archangel Uriel. Wisdom and clarity are your blessings today. Focus on being still, and your path will be revealed to you. I am here to help you find the still, small voice of love that dwells within. Be at peace knowing this. Now that is so beautiful, and it's such a perfect message for this time, the sensitive Piscean energy and all of that stuff. But at the same time, it's recognizing that the answer is inside. The answer is love. The wisdom and clarity are our blessings. Focus on being still, and our paths are revealed to us. And Archangel Uriel is here to help us find that still small voice of love that dwells within us and be at peace knowing that this is so. That's beautiful, very beautiful card. Okay, so I want you to take all of these into your heart and remember it is a theme until the full moon, which is going to be on March 14th. And in the meantime, if you would like to have a psychic reading, be sure to check out crystalmagicpsychiccenter.com. You can look at all of the different readers. They have descriptions of all of us and when we're here at the center if you want to come into the center, or you can do phone readings or Zoom meetings, all of that. And if you'd like a reading with me, I'm usually here Monday afternoons from 2 to 6 and Fridays from 10 to 6. But you can also sometimes schedule readings with me on other days, not too many, sometimes Wednesdays or Saturdays, possibly Sunday afternoons. But just, let me know what works if you want a reading with me specifically, or you can come through the center, or you can come to me directly by going to my Druid Linda. Just email me at druidlinda@gmail.com. Our Imbolc ceremony was live on Facebook on February 1st, and you can still watch the replay. And we will be doing our spring equinox. I believe it'll be on the 22nd, but I'm going to be setting up that event or doing a flyer for it as of tomorrow, so I'll have the exact date, but I'm pretty sure it's the 22nd. So stay tuned. I'll be talking more about that at the full moon for sure, and I want to wish you blessings of this new moon to you, and remember, you are always loved.